everybody. Oh, I did it. I did what Joshua says I do. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Happy Thursday. We're back. We're back for a few weeks, so buckle in. So happy everyone's here. Oh, my pillows are messy behind me. I'm so sorry. I'm not fixing it now. You're dealing with it, but how's everybody doing tonight? I'm gonna open the chat up, see what's going on. Hi, Lindsay. Oh, this lighting is weird. It's making my teeth look very. I'm self-conscious. Uh, that's so funny. How's everybody doing today? Hi, Jennifer. Welcome in. It's good to be back. It's good to be back on Thursdays. I don't know if you were with us 2 weeks ago. I had to flip it to Wednesday, and thank you to all of you who flipped over to there for that short Wednesday moment. But we are back on Thursdays. Happy to be here. If it's your first time here, welcome in. Happy to have everyone. It's 7 o'clock. I'm just going to give a minute for everyone to jump on. I hope if it is your first, oh, yay, first time. If it's your first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is DeVeiga. I'm going to look off camera for a second because I'm grabbing something really quick. You'll know what I'm going to do in a second. Okay. My name is DeVeiga. I am the Director of Agency Development at WorldVia Travel Network. I've been in the industry for, oh, a second time, Lindsay. Fabulous. I've been in the industry for 14 years. Hello, Michelle. I will see you in a few weeks. I've been in the industry for 14 years, worked in many different capacities in the travel industry, started as a travel advisor like all of yourselves, moved into a sales position in national accounts with a wholesaler. I worked in that space for many years. And then guys, I'm approaching I'm a little over a year and a half, getting closer to the side of 2 years of being with WorldVia. I love it so much. And they give me the opportunity to teach. Hi, Mandy, welcome. They give me the opportunity to teach these free personal and professional development courses on Thursday evenings. I do this as my gift to the internet in a sense. It is definitely aimed. Some are aimed at new to the industry. Most are aimed at the middle. Oh, there was no question, Don. What are you talking about? Oh, I asked if it was your first time. Um, and but somewhere in the middle, more experience. I definitely think there's some more to gain here depending on the topic. This week's a little interesting because I'm getting into like just into luxury, like if this is, how to get into it if you aren't currently in it and what that looks like and why it's beneficial to you. But I get into different topics, all personal and professional development based. And I go off on some tangents if it's your first time. Learn that that's probably, I'm told that's the best part. I don't know if that is accurate or not. The powers that be that are in the chat right now can speak to that. The cruise was fabulous, Kathy. For those of you that don't know, I was just on, and also a big piece of this is for your first time. This is not only for World Via Travel Network members, this is open to the public and all the people I've met in my travel life, because I have met many friends throughout my years in the industry, especially on the wholesaler side. I've met so many advisors from different spaces and places. So I leave this open to everyone. And also, just to put that in there, I'm going to pop in the chat really quick. There is a Facebook group. If you have a friend, I'm a big believer in finding your people in this industry. And if you have friends out there that don't have a space to grow themselves, feel free to share the Facebook group. I just popped it in. They'll know what upcoming episodes are coming. They can watch past episodes in there. It all lives in there. Drea helps me manage that space, and it's really helpful for you to see what's going on and what's to come. So the cruise was lovely. So for those that are World Via Travel Network members, I was just on the Norwegian Aqua for not our first, but our first of this year quest with us, which went amazing. We had a lot of really great members on board. They brought some of their family on board. It was a really cool experience. The ship was beautiful. The print show was top notch. And honestly, though, and I loved the print show, let's be clear, they did I mean, Norwegian's entertainment has always been next level. They had a rumors show, and they actually played the Fleetwood Mac album Rumors from beginning to end and introed each song with like what was going on and where it started from. It was absolutely incredible. So all the shows were fantastic. The food was delicious. The ports were great. I had no, I'll be honest, I had no desire to go to Puerto Plata, and it was probably my favorite port because the tour we did there, we did a classic car tour. It was really, it was a beautiful way to see the city and a way to do it in a way that I was not excited about a destination and actually really loved it. Went to Tortola, where we actually ended up taking a boat to Virgin Gorda and did the baths there, which was amazing. But I'm going to take a moment of accountability here. As you all know, if you are a repeat here, last week I put y'all to a challenge. And it was, I shouldn't say, it was 2 weeks ago. We had a video marketing challenge. I said, hey, just get out there and record yourselves. One, nobody sent me their videos, but that doesn't mean you didn't do it. But if you can, send me yours. I'd love to check them out. But my moment of accountability, I asked for one video from y'all. I said I was going to post three. I posted one on the cruise. I posted one today with video from the cruise, I set one up in my drafts and never posted it. So again, accountability. It's going to go up though. It's going to go up tomorrow. So just a little, I'd love to see if any of you took the challenge and made some video content. Um, for those repeaters, this is not your first time here, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming. The only reason I'm here is because y'all show up each week, and I'm very thankful and grateful for all that and that you give me the opportunity to do this each week. But now it's 7:05, so let's get into it because I like to be mindful of everybody's time. And we're going to get into our luxury presentation. Wait for it. Give me a second here. Okay, let me share my screen. If you'll, and again, if it is your first time or second time and you're just getting familiar with the stuff, I truly, truly prefer if you interact in the chat, pop your questions in there. It makes it a lot easier and more fun for me. I like to be interrupted. I think the conversation really delves off in wonderful ways when we do that. So feel free to ask your questions as we go through. You do not have to hold them to the end. You are welcome to if you want to. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Why? I guess there's no fighting it today. I'm gonna do it. I don't want to do it like that. Sometimes, guys, the newscaster thing works, and then sometimes it does not work that way. We're gonna try it. Let me know how this looks for y'all. If this is cutting off this, yeah, I don't love that. That's like cutting off the slide. Hold on, let me stop share for a second. And I'm going to do a side by side. As always, because of the way I'm doing it, they must have done an update to this and it's not doing it quite the way it used to. If you cannot see the slides, and now you're getting all the visual here. If you cannot see the slides and you would like a copy of my presentation, please just let me know. I'm always happy to send it at the end. Okay. Why is this like this? Why is this showing my Facebook page? You're gonna see the proper way. Nope, we're gonna keep it as it is. All right, we move on. Some days technical issues are just a bounty, right? That's the fun of this. Okay, so breaking it. Ooh, I hate that I did that. I left that word. And if you guys were doing a presentation, I would have called y'all out on it if I left that travel off of that luxury. Anyways, breaking into luxury travel, smart strategies for serious growth and what it really takes to thrive in a high touch, high value market. So a little known fact that you may or may not know. At WorldVia, I oversee recruitment essentially, or bringing on new members into the network. And I ask a question when new members start with us, what their niche is, what they're trying to get into. And that's more just to help them, right? Point them in the right direction. And a shocking amount of people list luxury and they're brand new advisors, which I love that because that shows to me you're a go-getter right from the start, right? It shows you see your value, you know what is important to you, you know the space you want to get into. And I find we see a lot of advisors that come in maybe on Sun and Fun or cruises, or they start in Disney markets even. And later in life and later in their travel life, they're transitioning into luxury, which there's also nothing wrong with that. If that's where you're at, this is what this conversation is for. But I liked that I'm starting to see more and more new advisors just know and want to bite the bullet and become luxury from the start. Because as we talked about week over week, right, is the importance of profit drivers. And the easiest way to have your profit drivers set up correctly from the start is to get into the luxury market because dollar amounts are high, commission cuts are usually high, commission splits. So you're not wondering, I noticed that I have very 90s hair happens. It's very to the side. But your commission cuts are usually high, so you're no on as far as the amount of work you're putting into something compared to the amount of dollars you're taking back in, your ROI, right? Your return on investment is super high. Now, there are a lot of situations where some of our luxury providers, and we'll kind of talk through this, some of the luxury providers, there might be luxury DMCs that aren't quite paying the commission splits you want, and that happens. But there's other concessions you can make, or I'm sorry, other changes you can make to make sure that you're making this high dollar amount. Because let's be honest, you are not spending out of your pocket. People are spending high dollar for luxury. You need to be paid accordingly to what your service is. I always say, know your worth, know what is your value. And when you are getting into a luxury market, into luxury clientele, your attention to detail needs to be stepped up, right? Your preventative maintenance that I talk about so often, that needs to be next level. You need to be prepared for what comes next. You need to be prepared 2 steps ahead of them because that's what they're paying for. They are paying for service. I'll get into all this in a little bit. So think about that and know your value. Take the minute to look at what this looks like for you and what your business should look like, especially if you're just getting started. Oh my goodness, set yourself up right. If you are making an adjustment, don't make that transition until your setup is correct. We'll get into all that. So oh no, I wanted to go down today. I wanted to use these slides a different way because I have an extra big slide. Are you going to go down? Beautiful. Okay. So what is luxury travel in today's market? Oh, I did that on all these slides. I think it's because of the way it's adjusted. Oh, I put this one together a little too fast. All right. Value driven over price driven. What do I mean by that? And of course, I always have a ton of text in here that I may or may not have read off of. But as you all know, if this is not your first time, but luxury is not just about costs. It's about the exceptional value that's attached to the personalized service. Okay. So it's tough to read the slides. I figured, Lindsay, I have a lot of words on this. I'm going to talk through it. I will send everything over. To send me a quick email. I'm Laura@worldvia.com. It's super easy to find me. So what I mean by this first bullet here is and we talked about this, not even about luxury travel, right? If you go back and watch past episodes, value people buy on heart and justify it later. When people's when they're with their will to spend is 5 times what you're able to spend, like what you're used to spending, their value is that much higher. They want that much more of an experience out of things. They want to feel taken care of, right? So it's less about like, oh, I'm getting an extra amenity in the room. It's what am I going to feel when I get to the property? How am I going to be taken care of? Who's going to be there to assist me? Who's going to be making those decisions? So think about that and when you're presenting things. So luxury, a lot of people want to put the dollar signs behind. And let's be clear, for better service, you're going to pay for it more often than not. But there are luxuries in other experiences that are just the additions that you add to something to make sure people are taken care of. It's a transfer is a transfer, but a private transfer is very different than a shared transfer, right? Like you shouldn't be putting someone at a luxury property and putting them in a shared transfer. Sorry, you just shouldn't. Um, you shouldn't be putting somebody, you shouldn't assume if somebody wants to be on a luxury cruise ship that they don't want to be in an elevated room category or concierge or a butler level in those experiences. When you're as somebody that's used to a luxury clientele, and how you find this out, right? This is also an important piece of this. Some people might not know, especially when you're first getting started, if somebody is luxury, especially if you're just getting into that, or what their luxury kind of gauge is in a sense, right? Because it's a wide spread. Someone's sense of luxury might be a concierge level room in Disney World, and someone else's sense of luxury is a butler service room at LeBlanc. Like, or I mean, I went to varying different opportunities there, but there's also luxury services and safaris. I have a bunch of suppliers coming up, but it might be a luxury safari with Abercrombie and Kent. It might be a luxury cruise with Regent. It could be a lot of different things. It also could be a boutique luxury that is not even in the spectrum of what someone else thinks is luxury. So there's a couple pieces to this. Is one, making sure you're qualifying your clients correctly. Some people think they're luxury, they're not. Some people are luxury but don't look it. I can speak very kindly of a wonderful human who was in my life. May he rest in peace. He passed away last year. He was a multimillionaire. You wouldn't know it from anyone walking in off the street. He wore dingy t-shirts and some, some khaki shorts occasionally. He drank $5 wine from Aldi, but he was buying tens of thousands of dollars worth of vacations. Nothing was inexpensive. He was flying private jets to where he needed to go. He wanted the yacht vacations. So don't make assumptions. Make sure you're qualifying correctly. You can ask questions like, how did you travel last year? Where did you travel to before that you loved? If you're too afraid to ask. But more often than not, these kind of clients, they're going to come in and they're going to tell you exactly what they want and need. I'm saying come in like we're all storefront. It's going to be very clear in the messaging they're giving to you what kind of experience they're looking for. Okay. So they're looking for value. They want the top tier, but they want all the bells and whistles included, right? They want all the experiences included. They don't want to have to think about it. I talk about Regent a lot because it's a product that I love. Why it's a great product is because all the excursions are included for Regent. They don't have to think about it. It's again, preventative maintenance. Like I went on a tangent on that one bullet. I apologize. Personalization and exclusivity, right? Today's affluent travelers seek bespoke experiences crafted specifically for their preferences and interests. There is a unique experience in travel for everyone. When I was at the River Cruise Expo this year, and if any of you else you were there, you heard this gentleman speak about this. But there is a section of travel right now where you can actually pay, and this is high-end luxury. I know it's not going to sound it in a second, but the experience you can pay for is to be abducted, so to speak. And you and your friends have to try and find your way out of where you are. And to me, that sounds like a living nightmare. That is a high-end trip. It is very expensive. They stay in beautiful places, but they are stuck there and have to figure themselves a way out. That may not be for you. That is a very unique experience. It does sound very cool, Don. Listen, I want to be very clear. That sounds very cool if I know what I've signed up for. The story this gentleman told, only the man who planned it knew. It is like a live escape room, yes. The only man that planned it knew. So I'm sure his friends were in a panic state for at least a few moments till they realized they were actually safe. Like, I can't even imagine. But there are unique experiences out there. So that is a specific personalization. Also, I don't know if Robin's on here, but Robin, one of our members, she does scuba experiences. Very specific things have to go into an experience like that if people are into scuba. And many of the scuba clientele, they want nicer properties. They want luxury yachts. Not all of them, but many do. That is a different market. It's private experiences. That's not just getting on a Royal Caribbean ship and taking the scuba excursion, right? There's very specific things that need to be involved in that. Again, so this all for me goes back into qualifying. This is asking the right questions. Are you getting into the specifics? And I always say, like, what do you want this trip to feel like? That's a vague question that'll get you pretty far with a regular client. With luxury, it's what is important to you, what needs to be included when you're having this experience. What are the extra things that you're used to having that is important to you to have, especially if this is your first time working with this client. You won't need to ask those questions in the future because you're going to figure that out pretty quickly with luxury clients. There are needs they need to have and wants that need to be in there. Even wants are needs for them, right? That's important. Authentic, culturally immersive experiences. So, what I have here is shifting from opulence to meaningful, memory-rich travel that creates lasting impressions and personal transformation. These are your people that want to be fully immersed. These are your individuals that are going on the safaris and staying at the beautiful lodges and the boutique hotels and being fully involved in the safari, right? These are the individuals that are going to Italy and they're staying in a winery owned by a family and experiencing with that family, cooking with that family. Then they're going to their high-end restaurants when they want to, but they want to be fully immersed. This is luxury. And sometimes like we envision luxury luxury as gold and shiny and beautiful, but sometimes luxury is an elevated experience. It's sailing through the Greek Isles, right? It's not just going on a Mediterranean cruise. It is on a private yacht through the Galapagos, right? Those are the different kinds of experiences that they're looking for. They're looking for private tours, small group tours, and that small group is just their immediate group, right? Private experiences. When you're in, they want to be walked around personally and privately with someone in Italy to show them the gelato places to go to, recommend the restaurants to go to, things like that. And you can accomplish those things in the different destinations if that makes you nervous with different DMCs. The DMCs, the different countries, they're very familiar with where they are and what they sell, and they know the different to how to pivot to different clientele. But you have to make sure you're selling the correct DMCs to do so. Service that anticipates and not just responds. This is always what I say in preventative maintenance. This should come up in your daily life as far. I have to take a sip of water. I apologize. A little fun fact about my cruise, I did get ill in the end of it. My voice is just coming back. Um, so I just need a couple sips of water to get me through. But I'm always talking about preventative maintenance that should be in your business, as well as your day-to-day life. Just in general, I preach it to my team consistently. When you're making a decision, will it help you threefold? So when you are asking a question, don't ask just a very, like you can ask specific questions, but ask questions that are going to lead into things that are important for making your decisions for your client. You know, what you're asking, is it important to this individual to be near transportation, or are they actually, the reality is with your luxury clients, they're probably not going to use public transportation, but they're going to, but like, what does transportation look like for them? Do you want private, just you and your partner in a private vehicle? Is small group touring to you? You can be with a few other individuals, or that's not for you. Are we talking first class only, or is business class okay? It's like those kind of conversations. But preventative maintenance is going, okay, I know this individual needs space. So I'm going to think of this tenfold. I'm only going to look at rooms that have king size beds. I'm only going to look at first class tickets because I know he needs the room for sitting. I'm only going to look at properties that are built after a certain time period in Europe or have been renovated after a certain time period because the rooms are small, the ceilings are low. Things like that, thinking through those steps, and being ahead of the game in that manner. This is if you have somebody that is used to a certain quality of life, you're not going to put them on a G Adventures tour. I love G Adventures. I think it's an excellent product line for the right client. They don't want to be staying in the style hotels that now they have a comfort version. There's no dig on them, but it's not for everybody. There's other tour operators you should be using for an elevated experience. I'm going to dare say just when looking at river cruising, anticipating needs and wants and things like that. If you have a younger, more active traveler, and they're on a river cruise, you might not want to put them on AMA waterways. It's not that they wouldn't enjoy it, but they're going to love Riverside a heck of a lot more. The experience is different. It's built towards a younger audience. Or you might want to put them on maybe Avalon, where they have the e-bikes to rent in every destination. Things like that if they're more active, or ones that offer more active activities on board. All right. Oh, did I go the right way with this? Let's see. Yes, I did. Okay. Woo. So understanding the luxury mindset. One, luxury clients bring expectations shaped by excellence in every aspect of their lives. For them, exceptional isn't exceptional, it's the baseline. So things that you kind of brush aside in certain destinations is not for these individuals. So we used to have a standard of practice at the wholesaler I worked at, that we would not sell the American clientele anything in the European market below 3 stars. That is because we know, and actually, to be fair, we really only sell what would be considered a 4 or 5 star, because for as far as the American market is concerned, 3 star is not the same quality as 3 stars within the States. Okay. So for a luxury clientele, I would only be looking for 5 star properties when you're looking in the European market, or really anywhere that's outside of the United States. Because again, you always have to factor in the American accommodation for that. We have set our way to a certain standard. Start at 5 star. for these individuals, you're starting at the concierge and butler levels for your rooms. Or when you're, even if you're looking at, they say they were doing a multi-generation trip and they end up being on a Norwegian cruise, these people are not going anything less than the Haven. It's just not what they're used to. They're not going to make those accommodations. So don't put them in the position where they have to, right? Preventative maintenance. Thinking ahead of the game, thinking of always when you're looking at different properties, what is your elevated option here? Offer them those. And these are the clients in any other situation. We've talked about sales approach and how you're putting out your things. We're offering three different solutions because maybe they're going to pick the middle one. That's not these individuals. Anytime I had experience with luxury clientele, which is where what my clientele developed into later in my career, it was I was starting from the top down. You are quoting the highest, and if they go, oh, I don't actually need all that stuff, you can then take it down a notch and see if that's accommodated to what they want. Because them, it's not about the dollar. For them, it is about the experience. So if they're like, oh, actually, I don't, it's not a necessity on this trip, great. Then this would be the best room for you. It's taking those little pieces away. Don't sell, again, I'm going to say this endlessly through here, especially if you're not currently selling luxury, which Mandy, God love you if you're still here. I know you're already high into selling luxury, but you cannot sell out of your own wallet. This is, and not saying you do, Mandy, but I'm saying you're humoring this because I know you're really active in it. But I'm going to repeat this over and over again because it is so constant when you're first starting out to think of, oh God, this feels pricey. Oh God, I don't know if it, and I will tell you, the first time I sold a $40,000 trip, my insides tightened. But I can tell you they didn't even flinch because that's not their restriction. You don't live in that. It's a really tough mindset to get into. Lindsay, I agree with you. I will tell you what will shake you of that, and nobody likes this. And this is, and I will tell you what shook me of it. How I came into the industry, I came in the mindset of you just always ask for the credit card. You don't even think twice. Every individual that is coming to you to book has the intention of spending money. And so when they've already presented you with luxury options, assume they're not going to flinch. So get into the habit of when you are selling a luxury trip, it's one sentence. That's what I'm getting at. So is this, this is what you're going to do. This is the experience you're looking for. We're doing all these different components. Your trip total cost is $36,000. How would you like me to put that deposit down today? It has to be one fluid sentence, no break. I really want to win the lottery because I want to travel. I get it, Don. I get it. I don't travel that way either, but people do. And let's say this market is getting larger and larger because of boutique, unique options that are considered luxury and have a luxury price point. But I'm actually going to dare say something very fast. People are always like, oh, I can't, or I don't know, and I'm not sure. Disney pricing currently, and everyone's like, oh, I want to go budget. I'm a Disney person. On average, people are spending at least $6,000 to $7,000 even on a budget trip to Disney World. All in. Once they're there, all in, right? So presenting them with what is not necessarily luxury of the highest luxury that we're talking about, but the more moderated luxury that we discussed a little bit earlier, sending them on an all-inclusive luxury vacation to say Grand Velas that is not that much more, and they're going to get an insanely elevated experience than what they're used to at a Disney vacation is going to break their brains a little bit. And again, that's all about presenting the value of what they get at, say, a Grand Velas property compared to what they got at the Disney property, the experience they're going to feel at these properties, right? Another great example of this is comparing Regent to, say, one of the large ships. So I can actually give a test to this. The Norwegian Aqua that we were just on, at a discounted rate, we were still a couple $1,000s per person. So we were in a $4,000 room. That is at a discounted rate because it had all the inclusions already in it. So we actually priced this out. A family of four on the exact same sailing we were on would have been $10,000, which it doesn't necessarily designate luxury for a family trip. It can for most, and let's be real here. I want to be cognizant of everyone's spending capability, but not always, right? $10,000, but that's not all it. That was for a beverage package. Okay, fair. No excursions. So excursions were averaging about $100 to $200 per person. Let's say 200 per person. Say they're going full in, because then it's not even full in. It was like to swim with the turtles was $200, right? So times four, that's $800 a stop. We stopped at four stops. That's another $4,000. We're up to $14,000. They want specialty dining. That's $50, $60 a head. That's $200 a day. That's another $1,000. We're at $15,000 and we are still in a standard room. We are still in a standard room. So $15,000, which was that was, there's people will look at a cruise and be like, that's the more affordable way to cruise. That is a very high price point when you can do a Regent sailing for roughly the same price, and you're going to get an actual elevated experience. You're going to get a luxury room. You're going to get luxury style service. You're going to get the white towel, the Versace plates at your dining table with all, thank you, Sal, and all your excursions and beverages included. And I can tell you, I've done both, and I would pick Regent all day, every day. Less people on board. Ports are usually less crowded when you pull in with Regent. Occasionally not so much, and the service is next level. Service, love Norwegian, was not next level on this cruise. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of things happening. They're accommodating to a lot of individuals. It was 4,000 on that. I think it was a couple hundred on the Regent cruise I was on. Again, I'm comparing this, just trying to show you that sometimes luxury isn't all the dollar amount. Yes, there is a high dollar amount attached to it. What is happening with this over here? This is crazy today. Um, but value. The value of Regent is so extremely blaringly obvious in comparison to some of these large boats. That being said, large ships, I said boat, Erica would kill me. That being said, some people love that experience. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If people, I have a girlfriend, we've been friends our entire lives. She is on a Carnival ship day in and day out. Bless and release. That's for you, not me. I've moved on. That's okay. I've been in some beautiful Carnival ships. To each their own. I'm a Regent girly. I've learned. This is what I've learned. I don't need to be a Regent girly. I actually love Royal Caribbean as well. But again, I'm just saying for comparison, you can, when you put value in, you can really put people in the experience that they didn't even know they could have by selling value first. Now, that's getting people into luxury. Those that want luxury is what I was talking about before. Don't even bother with those other options. You start from the vendors we're going to talk about in a bit. Oh my goodness, I went on a road again. But value, trust, and expertise. They're seeking advisors who can offer genuine insider knowledge and flawless execution. Um, I with the when I worked in the store for an agency, there was an advisor when I was just starting that sat right next to me, and she only sold luxury. And she would have her clients call her and would just say, "Karen, I would like to go to Monte Carlo next week." And she said, "Okay." They gave no details, they gave no context, they gave no nothing. And she would present them back with their option, singular, and they go, yeah, that works. Or they go, I don't love that. Can we just change this one thing? And that's how they go because their mindset is you are the expert. They pay. Is this being recorded? I mean, it is being recorded. It won't be sent out, but if you add yourself to the Facebook group, the link I put above, it will be in there tomorrow. So you can rewatch there. Or it always lives on WorldVia's YouTube page. So the next day. Um, they are there for expertise. They assume you know. Oh, that's what I was getting at. They're not stressed about paying the $100 for a service fee. They're going to pay the $500 for a service fee because they want you to figure it out. They don't want to have to ask questions. They don't have to think about it. They want to have to show up and everything's done for them. They want to have to show up and their champagne is in their room and they can go out to their Bali bed that's held from them. They're not worrying about the things that you're worrying about. That's your job. They trust you. They expect VIP treatment. Listen, they want to go to Michelin star restaurants. They want to know where the luxury retailers are. They want to stay in the places that have luxury retailers. They want to be close to those things. That is what they're used to. Now, what's important is that doesn't mean they don't want to travel to places that there isn't all luxury, but it is important to set a standard for them if that's where they're getting into and saying, hey, this isn't what you're used to, but here's the accommodations we're going to make to get you as close to we can, or close as we can to that, right? And that's deep on you building the right conversation and being able to say the right things. And that you'll build with time. That's not going to be immediate, but a way to learn those accommodations for each individual when you're getting into these different kinds of suppliers is the different suppliers offer incredible education onto what they offer and what is luxury about them, and then how you need to sell that to the appropriate client. That's something I will give luxury suppliers day in and day out. Their training is impeccable on how to sell their product. Prefer word of mouth and relationships. Referrals and trust are more than flashy advertising promotions. You're not going to catch a ton of luxury clientele off of promotion. It's not done. You're going to catch it from the first luxury client you book that runs to their dinner party or whatever it may be after they come home and they're talking to someone. They're like, "Oh, I really want to go to I don't know, I can't think about it. I really want to go to the Maldives. I'm not really thinking about it. They go, "Oh, I have a girl. Oh, I've got a guy. They can help you. They'll have it all figured out for you. They'll have the right properties that you won't have to worry about a thing. I have the girl." That's how you're getting extra luxury clients. And these type of clientele tend to have communities that they sit in. I think I have a slide about this later on. There might be part of golf club communities. They might be part of retirement communities. They might be a part of small teacher communities. It could be a lot of different things they're a part of that they're going to speak with each other. And this is how this is known. Jeremy, I would love to have clients like that. I live in a very rural area, and there's so much more time in educating clients how I work, since mostly simply they have not never worked and trusted a travel agent. So you read my mind. I was sending Maldives to your brains. That's funny, Don. Okay, Lindsay, and you're kind of asking how to get the clientele. Great question. And Jeremy, I need to want to say something outright. I live in a very small town. When I tell people where I'm from, I say Scranton because that's just easy for people to latch onto. They know the office. It makes sense for people. I'm actually not from there. I mean, you can't really tell from my background image, but I live like on the side of the mountains. I'm not far from the Poconos. My market starting out was budget. They were coming in with printouts from Expedia and they're like, you need to get me this exact price, but I would like it lower. And I was eating commission to beat things by $25 because where I live, and I'm sure it's similar to you, they might only go on one trip a year, maybe one trip every 2 years, maybe one trip every 5 years. So I had to get creative. I had to get those people talking about their experiences in spaces where these people were. And that is going to be a slow crawl for you. I don't want to pretend it's not, but there are ways you can kind of get around it. So it's again putting yourself in spaces where it makes sense, right? Golf communities may not be a thing where you're at. That's going to be a little bit more difficult. But you can put yourself in social groups online that may have different clientele attached to it. It's also going to be, again, kind of a bit of more word of mouth for you. So let me think outside the box here. Oh, done. I mean, it isn't marketing aligned to everyone a thing. Yeah, I mean, it is, but here's the thing. I'm sorry, I'm really kind of going all over, but I think this is helpful. And so if we get off topic, we'll circle back around. Um, Facebook only Facebooks, I guess, to the people you're friends with, right? And if your circle isn't that big right now, if your market isn't sharing that out, it's not spreading maybe as far as you might want it to be. So a good space to get in front of different clientele and different ranges is, I don't know if there is a chamber of commerce in your area, Jeremy. That will help widen my circle a bit. If you have business professionals groups in your area, again, I know it's tough in a rural area. But those are spaces where you're going to see people running businesses. And then it's in conversation, it's like finding like-minded businesses that might be able to market your business in the right way. How people do that and where around where I live is they partnered with different wedding venues. They partnered with different, again, I said golf venues that might not work in your area. I will tell you a trick that I do not think will work anymore, but worked fabulously for me. This is again going back quite a bit of time. I actually placed my business cards in travel books in local libraries and bookstores. It didn't work like every time, but it worked enough that the individuals that were s- in the space and willing to read about a destination and were willing to pay for a destination, reached out to me and started to spread out. And also a way is if you get into multi-generational travel and you start booking larger families, generally the matriarch or patriarch of the family has a little bit more expendable cash flow to use. And they can then have different markets of individuals where they might know some people. It's difficult when it doesn't exist in your area. Another way would be probably getting yourself out in spaces. I don't know if there's events in your area. Well, I guess really the question is, Jeremy, where are you at centrally? You don't have to give exact location. But is there, I'm trying to think of like events that might gauge in that direction. Um, I got to think more into this. But what you're kind of saying is how you get the clientele is you have to put yourself in different spaces. If your space is only a certain market, you've got to branch a little bit. I can tell you now, again, this wouldn't work now. When I had first started, everyone in my, you're about an hour or so south. Okay, oh, that's in St. Louis. Okay, fair enough. Um, some things that I did in that time period was I really actively worked the digital space, even though I was in a storefront office, and I started closing luxury clientele on answering random emails that came in. Jeremy, I don't know if you're part of our network, and if you are, if you have an agent profiler site or advisor showcase site, because the leads that come through from travel leaders, we tend to see a high influx of luxury trips that come in through that, and those are the ones that close, and they feel like this is never going to close, it's never going to work out. And those are the ones that do. And those are the kind of word of mouth clients that if you provide them with an incredible experience, they're going to tell their friends and family. So being in an area, it makes it difficult, but it could help. If you're not with us and not with travel leaders, your WorldVia member, okay, perfect. Yeah, I would definitely build out your agent profiler more. And if you want to be into the luxury market, make sure you list that. Make sure it's all over it. Show the different luxury that you're able to book. If you've been on any luxury trips, include the imagery from that. And an agent profiler is a great way to get yourself in front of luxury clientele because they're just going to search like who's an expert in this area. And the new way that agent profiler is pooling, it's kind of a random, so it doesn't mean that somebody has more experience than you is definitely going to get not. That doesn't mean you're not going to get a lead. So it'll be an interesting, or it would be a good way for you to kind of pool a different market. Um, Time is their most precious asset. So just kind of even touch on what I just said there. Um, Timeliness is huge. So again, as you're building your knowledge, it may not be the time to start right into the luxury market. Make sure you feel confident in what you're selling because if their decision isn't made quickly, or if you're not upfront about the amount of time it's going to take for this, they may move on. And you don't want that. You want to be able to keep them and retain them. So be cautious of their time. Don't add hassles and complications. Ask all your questions up front. Don't have to keep coming back for questions because that's just going to deter them. There we go. Oh, I didn't realize we were getting into this later in the slides. I've gone so down the road. So again, I talked about attracting the right clients and keeping it right. Build a premium online presence, create a digital experience that reflects luxury experiences. This is the biggest thing. Make sure your website reads luxury. Make sure it's not, if you're looking for luxury clientele and you get found on the internet, well, how you'll get found, one is making sure your SEO is correct. So make sure you have the luxury terms that are going to pull, curated, bespoke, things like that. They're going to pull them into your website. Make sure your imagery is high end, it is crisp, it is clean, it is of the destinations they want to be traveling to. It's of suppliers that they're going to be searching for and interested. Make sure it feels elevated. If you've been to my presentation before, you know I don't usually go with a gold and white. I did that intentionally. Um, bright, crazy colors is not going to pull that luxury market, right? So you want to lean into what makes sense. Make sure, like I say in anything with your brand identity, make sure if you're going into a luxury market, your business cards feel luxury. Your website feels luxury. Your digital presence, so what you're putting onto Instagram feels luxury. Your stories you're putting out feels luxury. Don't be all crazy wacky if you're looking to only pull luxury clients. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for expertise. They're looking for sophisticated. Keep those things in mind. Leverage referrals and partnerships, again, network where affluent clients gather. I know I said golf clubs before. Galas, again, that's, I know that might be difficult in a rural area, but any kind of charity event is a great place to pool different clientele, and that kind of clientele. Same with art shows or anything of that nature. Partner with complementary luxury brands for cross promotion. If you have a luxury car dealership, that might be an interesting idea. I don't know how that partnership would work, but having these conversations, the worst that you can be told is no. The worst you can be told is no. If you ask somebody for assistance and, hey, is anywhere, can I even just put my business cards here? Can I leave some flyers here? Can you, put it up on your board, whatever it may be. The worst you can be told is no. Treat every touch point like it's a VIP from your first email to post-trip follow-up. It should all feel elevated. It shouldn't, your email should be proper. Your thoughts should be thought out. It should feel refined. You shouldn't be talking in simplified text. Even if that's how they respond, you should be responding like you are elevated, just like the experience they want to have. Myths and mistakes to avoid. Luxury means expensive and flashy. No, luxury means curated. It means exclusive. It means meaningful. Another myth. You need decades of experience to break in. No, you don't. You need connections, you need to deliver expert service, and you need to have expertise in at least the areas you're willing to sell. It doesn't need years. It needs time and it needs attention to detail, but it will not take you that long. Actually, I'm gonna call, I don't know if she's still on here. She might have jumped off because she's a little bit above, but Mandy's a great example. Mandy just started really in the last year or so. And she has shown that you can get into luxury in a huge way and quickly, if you dedicate your expertise to it and dedicate yourself to your niches. Common mistakes: undercharging. They have the money, charge appropriately, especially when you start to get into FITs, because when you get into individual hotels and different things, they might only pay 10%. Your transfer might not pay much at all. So making sure that you have your dollar amount attached to what you're worth. That might just be setting a $500 planning fee right up front. They're not going to care. Just include it in the total cost. It might be adding different fees depending on the different service, but make sure you're charging appropriately. Over promising. Don't act like you can give them the world, because they're going to want it. They're going to want it. They're going to expect it. Do what you can do. Make sure you are giving them an elevated experience, but don't promise something you cannot do. Make sure you can do it before you say anything. Another great way of this, so I'll talk about them in a bit, but Travel Leaders has select hotels that offer additional amenities that you can give to your clients. It gives them an elevated experience just for booking it through you and through the Travel Leaders program. I would oftentimes not tell my client about that, so that when they got there, it looked like a perk they got just through me. I'd be like, and they would, a lot of times it's resort credits. I just had a property where I got resort, because I stayed personally. It was resort credits I received for staying. I got a room upgrade on arrival. I had late checkout complimentary, which was lovely. Early check-in complimentary, which was lovely. And so how I handled that was I didn't tell them about that, because some of them are based on availability. I let them get there, and all that looked, when it was with my clients, all that looked like it came from me, which is a really nice perk. Don't be a generalist. Don't speak vaguely about things. Get specific. Get into details. You want to get gelato here. You want to go walk through this space. You want to get into this hotel, see these things. How would we look at, and I realize as I'm saying this, I'm being very generalist in my delivery, but how do we look to see which properties those hotels are and benefits? Oh, yes, all this information is available through Agent Universe. Anything for select hotels or their curated program and all their DMCs that they are part of their distinctive voyages, like and all that, and that is all available through Agent Universe. I can tell you just a little fact about travel leaders that a lot of people don't know about their luxury product. Because a lot of people will try and compare it to Virtuoso, which listen, Virtuoso has a ton of product line. It's a fabulous company, but they only do luxury. Um, the select hotels and the curated hotels through travel leaders is larger than their portfolio. It's larger than that. They're just what they're looking at is so specific. It is large, but travel leaders is actually larger. It spreads a wider berth, so to speak, over the different product lines that are available to it. It's an incredible, incredible product line, and people don't realize how large it is and what's available to them because they don't know where to find it. But if you go onto Agent Universe, you can find all that information in there. And like I said, the last one for me was just a surprise. It was a Vegas hotel. I stayed at the Aria and I got all this extra stuff. I was like, oh, this is lovely. Forgot about that this was a select hotel. But that happens there in every destination, or well, I should say most destinations throughout the world, especially in your more unique destinations. They have some really incredible select properties and amenities for those. And the biggest thing, I keep saying the biggest thing, there's a lot of big things with this, so I apologize, I keep saying that, but a big thing with selling luxury product and getting into this market is, again, sell it with confidence. Don't sell out of your pocket. Be confident in what you're providing to them because you know that you're the expert. Know that they're willing to spend the money. You have taken the time, you have thought through why this is valuable to them, you have listened to all their needs, you've built this beautiful product for them. Present it confidently. You're going to love this, and this is why. I've included this, this, and this. Then you're going to do this. You're going to go to here. I made sure it's all included. You're going to do this. You're going to come here. Feel confident. And I know confidence is difficult in your beginning stages, but it's so incredibly important of just asking for the credit card, of just selling the one high-end product to this kind of clientele is very helpful. Always have a backup. But feel confident because they're confident in you. Building relationship with supplier partners or with luxury suppliers. I just wanted to talk about this briefly. Seek preferred partnerships, so align with brands that match your service philosophy and client expectations. Focus on relationship building, strong supplier connections, client perks, upgrades, and rapid support. Listen, luxury suppliers, it's a smaller window of clientele. So it's much easier to build relationships with your supplier partners for luxury, and it's much easier for them to pull strings if needed and help you when things go badly or something unfortunately doesn't go the way it should, because they're working with a smaller market of individuals, right? My experience with all of our luxury supplier partners are incredible. They are so fast because they are working with an elevated clientele, so they know they have to work in an elevated status. Get to know these partners. Within our luxury product line within WorldVia, if you're not with us, please, I'll talk through the whole thing. But if you're with another host, reach out about their luxury program, or TLN has their own luxury program if you're part of the TLN. But get to know how you can learn these different supplier partners and who should be your point of contact with them. Who am I reaching out to because I have these VIP clients coming? What do they need extra to make sure is in their room? Having these conversations. Also, don't let the first time you interact with these supplier partners be when there's a problem. Get to know them first. If you're interested in getting involved in the luxury market within WorldVia, we have luxury training events coming up that will get you put into place to start selling it. And then once you start selling it, you can get into the Lux Luminaries, and that gets you in front of all the luxury supplier partners on a more frequent basis. But the trainings before that will get you in front of them, get to know them, help you learn the product on a more one-on-one basis, and then feel comfortable in those spaces. Also, I talk about it down lower. Once you start to sell travel more, luxury or travel leaders is a luxury forum where they bring all the luxury suppliers into one place. It's usually right before Edge. Like there's opportunities to learn luxury and get to know these suppliers and more in depth and a more one-on-one basis, and learn more in depth into their product. Get to know them. Like I said, don't let the first time you meet them be when there's a problem. Know the product inside and out. Suppliers notice and reward advisors who truly understand their offerings. This is just a reality. I see it happen in real time with our members. The members that have a good relationship with their supplier partners get the phone calls for events and things going on. Has nothing to do with regionality. It has more to do with how well if they've sold the product, if they're familiar with the product, if they sell it well in their spaces as well. Like they're representing it well in their marketing. Travel Leaders does have a luxury certification, Michelle, and I mentioned that in just a moment. But thank you for bringing that up. As far as getting to know luxury product, Travel Leaders luxury certification is an excellent certification program. It is extensive. It is not just like, oh, I'm going to take a little quiz and be done. It is not. It really takes you all in. You have to get to know these supplier partners. You actually have to write up about the individual supplier partners and review them, take their trainings, get a better understanding of what they're offering. And there is a full written piece of this at the end as well. They have you write out a marketing plan. It's quite extensive, but it sets you up in a way that you're going to be successful in the luxury market. I highly recommend that certification program. Highly recommend any of Travel Leader certification programs. And if you are a part of WorldVia Travel Network, we get those certifications at a discounted rate. So if you're not taking advantage of them, start because not everyone gets that discount. And the last thing was this attend elite travel shows. I put ILTM in here in Travel Leaders Luxury Forum. GTM just started a luxury event as well. Different vendors are getting together and doing little luxury pockets. And like I said, we have our own luxury trainings. We have a luxury forum this year. We have our luxury symposium, which that is for just for our Lux luminaries currently, but that's going to expand with time. We have different. I think we have a luxury discovery we had previously, which is available on our agent portal. And I'm sure there'll be more to come. But just make sure you're getting into places where luxury suppliers are so you can learn more about it. So I just wanted to put this kind of quick run list on here. I know we're getting late on time and I want to be mindful of everyone's time. So I just want to run through this really quickly. I put some essential partners for luxury travel advisors in here. Again, I just think it's a good idea to know who is good and what they're good for. I don't know if I boxed these correctly, but I think I did. I realized I did that. Amana Resorts, they're an ultra luxury minimalist resort known for privacy, wellness, immersive cultural design all over the globe. Really great product line. Kensington Tours, I'm a huge fan of. Private tailor-made journeys, curated itineraries, local guides. Like expert local guides, I should say, immersive cultural experiences again. And this is the kind of experience that your clients are looking for when they're looking for elevated luxury. Riverside Luxury Cruises. I am such a big fan of this product line right now. Boutique and like in such a cute, lovely way. That ship, I felt like, oh, this is an experience. Like I walked into that river cruise ship and went, oh, this is very different than any other river cruise ship I've been on. Very unique experience, beautiful experience, incredible food. And they're currently throughout Europe, but I think they're going to be growing pretty rapidly. Abercrombie and Kent is custom designed private and small group tours. They're known for their safaris. They're known for their really in-depth itineraries. And they're a really fabulous, fabulous VIP experience. Lindblad Expeditions. So not everyone might immediately think Lindblad when we think of luxury, but this is again getting into these more unique trips at a higher price point. So again, high-end adventure travel. Adventure is huge right now. That is the market. How a few years ago, if you weren't selling cruises, what were you doing? Adventure travel and expedition travel is the next road to be going down, and Lindblad is an incredible partner for that. They are partnered with National Geographic, which is a really great thing to be partnered with. They have incredible curated tours, very educational, conservation. Remember, I was talking about that's an option for a lot of these people. It's a great option. Alexander and Roberts, I'm not as many people are familiar with them, but again, intimate, upscale, very cultural experiences, very personalized service with them, which is nice. So if you have people with very specific, unique needs, they're great with that. And they do different destinations, which is really cool. Silver Seas Cruises, again, ultra luxury. This is we are getting into the white glove of it all. It is a beautiful experience. All suite cruises, personalized service, gourmet dining, the best of the best with Silver Seas. I'm a huge fan of Silver Seas as well. Tauk, again, upscale guided land journeys and river cruises. Tauk, if you don't know, so like their river cruise, one of their experiences with their river cruises is they actually, you get to like, it just happened with all the members when we were in Vienna. They take you to Stromberg Castle in Vienna, and they have this beautiful immersive experience for you there that's at different time of the day. There's a dinner experience there that no one else gets. It's just for their river cruise attendees. Like that's the kind of experience you're getting on Tauk. This is elevated. When I walked on the Tauk ship, I was like, oh, this is a different animal. This, you felt like you were in luxury here. This is the gold luxury of this. So I heard there's also a new program that will be starting for individuals that may not qualify for it. You are correct, Sal. If anyone didn't read Sal's comment, he said, I heard there's a new program that will be starting for individuals that may not be qualified for Lux Luminaries yet to guide them into the luxury space. You are correct. I won't speak about that in here yet, but more details are to come. Because we want to get people into the Lux Luminaries. So we found a way to do that. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Seabourn small ship luxury cruises. That's what they are, more like a yacht. That's their market there. Um, then, of course, Explorer Journeys. They're a newer luxury cruise brand. If you're coming to World, they actually will be there if you want to learn more about Explorer, which is really cool. So TLN Select Hotels and Resorts, as we were talking about before, curated collection of 1,600 plus luxury properties, offering exclusive amenities and upgrades when booked through a TLN advisor. Also, TLN's Luxury Leaders, which is their program. It's their premier luxury network. It offers access to exclusive offers, enhanced commissions, things like that. Terry Denton, who runs the Lux Luminaries, he goes to the Luxury Leader event every year. So he always curates all this information and gets all that he can for it. And we are highly involved in their luxury programs, and we recommend that you take the luxury certification as well. Excuse me. Okay. We're going to breeze through this end piece as we're hitting 8 o'clock. Again, pricing with confidence. Make sure you're charging for expertise. Before you start working with luxury clients, make sure you have built out your fee structure. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure it reflects your knowledge, the connections you have, your time investment. Make sure you know. Value over discounts. Don't worry about being like, oh, I found this great rate for you for this. Now, there is the occasional who love a good deal. If you find that you're getting that vibe from them, they want to have a good deal, they're going to tell you up front, you can do that for them. You can say that, but most of them, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for value added. Oh, I found this with this additional piece. They're not looking for discounts off. Even that is really a discount in retrospect, but that's not how they want to present it to them. Again, project confidence. Don't let imposter syndrome take you over. Communicate your role. So when you're involved with a luxury client, you're much more high touch point. You're going to speak to them more often. You're going to be talking them through different things. You're going to be communicating their check-ins 24 hours before on excursions. You're going to be much more involved with the front desk with these individuals, especially if they have additional asks that they had. Maybe there's something they needed in the room, a special accommodations. You're making these phone calls. Very high touch point, and make sure they know what you do and what you don't do. And if there's something you're not willing to do, make sure they know that up front, because they're going to be pretty disappointed if they thought you were going to do it and then you didn't. Oh, why did my words end up so tiny here? Anyhow, elevating your service and your brand. Again, I'm just circling back to make sure you're projecting luxury so that they know you sell luxury. What does your digital presence looks like? Is it sleek, inspiring, consistent? Consistency is bigger here than anything. Make sure if you're selling luxury, you're only promoting luxury in your digital spaces. I know it's going to be tempting to put in some of those deals in there, especially when you're first starting out, but if you're going to the luxury niche, stay in the luxury lane. Invest in professional photography. Like I said, ensure your personal presentation embodies luxury values. If you're presenting yourself at an event space, if you're doing an expo for yourself, make sure your space looks luxury. That is going to feel difficult in the beginning. But if you come in there and you're just kind of getting by, you're not pulling in anyone luxury. Have the bells and whistles, bring the floral arrangement, make some things gold, make it feel good, make it feel clean, modern. It's a great way to exude luxury. Service distinction. This is a big one, and this is more what I wanted this slide for. These are the people that you're doing handwritten notes. These are the people that you're creating welcome gifts for. This is the people that you're making custom itineraries for. So they want to do this Globus tour, but they don't want to be involved in that. And they want to be completely different and they want it to be more boutique. That's you breaking that down yourself and making that custom for them. It's making sure they have gifts in every hotel they get into. It's making sure they have gifts every day they're on their cruise ship. It's sending gifts when they get home. It's sending gifts before they go. I know that feels expensive. It can feel expensive, but when the difference between you're making $300 on, say, a large ship cruise or say $500 and you're making $5,000 on their one trip, you have the money to buy them a small gift. I'm sorry, but you do. And that's a reality. And if this is your first time here, I apologize for hearing that from me because every other class I teach, I will never tell you to spend money because that is not how I started and you don't need to. But when you start to play in a different ball field, you start to play a different game. So again, think about those things. Now, it doesn't have to actually come out of your pocket. A lot of things can be worked out of your commission depending on, what supplier you work with, or it could be done in a manner where you don't even really notice you're doing it because it's going to be coming back into the account that you're taking the commission out of. You can figure, if you want to talk more about that, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but there's ways around this, and I promise you those little touches will pay you back tenfold. But having the little touches, like this is that little gold notebook and pen, but sending them away with a little bit of an elevated like cosmetic kit before they go is going to make them feel special. Having real documents given to your clients is incredibly important with these clientele. Not everyone will want them, but make sure to make the effort to print them out and make them look good. Put good luggage tags in there. Most luxury brands will send you luggage tags, so you don't have to pay for those, but make sure they're getting them. Things like that. 24/7 availability for true VIP clients. This is an unfortunate reality when you're getting into this kind of clientele. They want you available at any point in time. You can look into services to be fully available and it's not just you, or you can have a tag team system with another colleague out in the industry, but you do want to be available to these clients. They're going to have needs that you'll never expect because they're willing to drop a dime to fly home the next day in 5 business class. They don't care how much it costs and you need to be available to help them. So just think through those things and build relationships with hotel GMs and local fixers. A lot of our luxury sellers within our network are very friendly with very specific hotels and they send their clients back to those properties over and over again because of the relationships they built with these hoteliers. Because they know they can call them up and say, "Hey, Sal, I need you to do this for my clients. They're coming in 2 days and they need this, that, and the other thing." And they're going to do it for you because you continually send back clients to their hotel because these smaller hotels, that's their whole business, right? So building relationships, sending messages before clients arrive, keeping touch with them while they're there, sending thank you notes after. It's those extra touches are going to go a really long way with this kind of clientele. Tools and tips for growth. Luxury CRM systems. Listen, these are track client preferences, special occasions, past bookings so once you book a luxury client once, you should never have to ask questions again. You should have all those questions answered. So the next time they call and book, they just tell you the destination, you know what you're doing, and that helps by having it all listed in your CRM, making sure your CRM has the capability to do so. But this is a moment where I'll never tell you to go outside. I don't like to tell you so outside our network, but you want high quality documentation for your clients. You're going to build that in a system like Travefy or something like that, where they can build beautiful documentation for you. I hope that is in our future at WorldVia, but I'm a realist and right now we don't have it. So you have to do those spaces. Take the time. That's an investment that will pay you back in the long haul. White label itineraries, again, deliver polished, branded itineraries. Elevate your professional image. Make sure your branding is on there. Make sure it is golden shiny. It doesn't have to be golden shiny, but you know what I mean. Make sure it looks clean and nice. Just some different apps that offer different services I have listed there. Premium email marketing. Make sure these are not the clients that you're just sending an email of all text that you pop some copy and paste photos into. Build an email campaign. You can do it in Email Plus if you're a member of our network. There are other options to do, say, build an email in Canva if you have to, but pay the extra attention. Build something clean, sophisticated. Doesn't need to be jokey and fun like you might do in other spaces. This is a different experience. Luxury education. Invest in your education. This is where I put the luxury certification, luxury travel university. Go on the luxury fam trips. Get yourself in these spaces. Understand them. Get to know your luxury suppliers. Find out how you can get on these fams, what you have to do, what trainings you have to take to be considered for them. Get yourself in it so you can experience it, so you can sell it properly. Next steps. So what is your luxury niche, right? We didn't even get into that. I just kind of talked about the clientele and how you get started and how you approach these clients. But what is your niche? Are you doing wellness? Are you doing safaris? Are you doing villa rentals? What does that look like for you? Who are the suppliers you need for these specific niches, right? Find one to two. Start to dive deep into their supplier training. Refresh your brand. Does it look the way you need it to for these brands? I look at the way the lights are going down. I look very tan. Um, Practice your value proposition. So we didn't really get into this, but when you change what you're selling, your elevator pitch needs to change. So how do you clearly communicate to these clients what you sell and why you're an expert? Build a new 30-second elevator pitch. Build a new minute and a half elevator pitch. Make sure they know exactly why they should be choosing you, why you're the option for this, why you're going to provide them the experience they're looking for. Make it short, concise, be able to sell it to people quickly because time is important to them. Again, well, look, this is repetitive. I apologize. What luxury niche are you drawn to? What's one change you can use to elevate your brand today so you're more in a niche or more in a luxury position market? Oh, I just kind of got into what I realized what the first one was is where do your passions and expertise naturally align? So when you're picking your niche, make sure it makes sense, make sure it feels comfortable. And then lastly, who is your ideal luxury client? And that's all, y'all. I'm realizing this is a more extensive topic because I said don't be generalized, and I kind of had to generalize some of this to get through the content tonight. But questions, thoughts, concerns. How are we feeling? Are some of you already in luxury? Are you thinking of moving to luxury? You're just here to, good. I'm glad you thought it was informative, Kathy. Thank you. Are you just stepping your toes in it? Oh, good. I'm glad you both, oh, good, good, good. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm sending one text. My husband's about to leave for my daughter, and I don't want him to leave yet because we don't need to. Give me 1 minute. My daughter's in a play. We have to go pick her up. You thought it was great. I went to luxury cruises. Going into it, Misty. Yeah, it's tough. Listen, and you're part of the Lux Luminaries, Michelle. We have a celebrity among us. Brand new, considering stepping your toes into. Listen, it's once you get, and Michelle, maybe this is a space you can speak to, but once you get in it, and once you, to go back to what you just said, once you get your toes a little wet and you start to feel a little more comfortable, it's all going to feel a little bit easier. Michelle, you're going to the Cunard fam next week. I'm so jealous. I'm so, I need to be clear. So the Cunard fam through us next week is an Alaska fam. I want to go on it so badly. But I am going to Alaska the following month. I'm only going to Anchorage. I cannot be that jealous, but I am so endlessly jealous of all of you that'll be attending that. Kathy had clients come home from Scenic. Fabulous. I really enjoyed Scenic when I was on it. I thought their service was excellent. Their food was excellent. I was really impressed with it. Lindsay, being new, it's tough to get experience. I have no sales yet to qualify for fans. I get it. Where you need to focus your time and energy, Lindsay, right now is trainings and getting to know these supplier partners and investing yourself in those spaces because the opportunities will come. But once you have to really immerse yourself in the trainings, go to the any in-person trainings, get to know these supplier partners that'll get you in the position, in a better position for FAMs like this for sure. Any questions about anything we talked about today? If not, we'll cut it a little early tonight so I can go pick up my daughter. Not that I want to, but I will. Um, they might have left me though. I don't know. You did 4 certifications before moving into luxury. My goodness. Michelle, can you list what those certifications were by chance? I'm assuming you did the travel leader certification. Um, what else did you do as far as luxury trainings? There's also power in the ask. I've gotten on to fans just by explaining my sales plan. You just brought up a great point, Jeremy, and I'm going to stop sharing for a moment to talk about this. The worst you can be told is no. And also, when I got into supplier partner relationships a few weeks ago, I talked about this. Sometimes there's so much value in having providing what your plan is for your business to partners. Not just luxury, but luxury is also a huge piece of this, right? Saying, this is my plan, this is where I want to be at by the end of the year. What is my options? How can I learn more? I want to be fully immersed in this. That was a great point, Jeremy. Thank you for bringing that up. Oh, Danny, okay, I'm sorry, Michelle, you did luxury groups, destination weddings, and luxury and CTA. Fabulous. Okay. That's true. And BMC, you're working hard, they're willing to offer. It's true because they want new people too. Let's be clear. Even luxury people, they know their market needs to get bigger. They can't just assume that what's going to be there is all what's going to sell. So, absolutely. You can't have what you don't ask for. Great point, Misty. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, if nobody else has any other questions, one, I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope this was valuable. I'll pop the Facebook group back in here one more time if you need it. If not, I'll see y'all next week. I can't wait. We're back for a few weeks. No breaks for a while. As much as I wanted to go on that Alaska cruise and take the break, I'm not. We'll be back next week. I hope I'll see you all again next week. We've got lots of fun, interesting topics coming up. I looked at them. I hope they were shook up in the way I need them to be. But I'm excited. We got out. We were in a little bit of a redundancy for a bit there, I know. But I'm glad we're out of it. I thank you all for showing up each week. I'm so grateful to all of you because I wouldn't have a place to do this if you didn't show up. So incredibly thankful and grateful. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk soon. We'll see you all next week. All right. And I can't wait. Quick challenge. Tell me next week when you join me again what luxury trading you've dived into. What ones are you exploring? What are you getting into? I'd love to hear it. All right. Y'all, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you soon.